All right, welcome everybody to the show. We have a few people. Hi, Larry. I see you over there. I think everybody else is in the stream, so to speak. We have two devs, or one dev and one Matthews, is kind of like the idea guy, I guess, from Tide and Linux. So they're joining us for the show. That's great. Glad they're here. And we also have Sylvia on there. Not sure if he's related to y'all guys or not, but anyway, he's joining us for put his 5 cents in. So that's cool. And we have the Larry's the only other guy here, I guess, so far. So anyway, yeah, I have this is Rick Koppel, not only a screw guy coming at you from Denver, Colorado. And we have for my brew today, I got some interesting scotch. Yeah, it's kind of like this Islay Gold. I don't know if any of y'all have ever had any of that before, but anyway, I won't be sipping a lot of that while I'm on the show, but mostly water, keep my voice up. And we got the brew over here, so yeah. Always have to think opposite direction when I do these things. So anyway, welcome everybody. Let's see, I go by she, her. No, I know my voice is still Matt. Yeah, Sylvia says she goes by she or her. So yeah, I didn't know it was a woman, so that's good to know. So let's see. We have Titan Linux on tap today to look at. And we have yeah, so anybody else out there? Larry? I can hear you, but yeah, I can't see you. You can't see me. I can see myself on the screen up there in the receiving thing. Yeah. There's Sylvia. Sylvia. How do you pronounce that first name exactly? Make sure I'm getting it right.
Siva.
Siva. Okay, thank you. So yeah, we got Siva with us today, and yeah, so let's see what else we
I'll
got.
turn like
Huh?
dark. It's kind of getting dark in here, so yeah. And if my mic could start cutting out because do live in a very rural area, so I probably won't be talking too much because of that.
All right. That's fine. Thank you for showing up at least. For
Yeah.
being here what you can. So we got so let's see. I guess we ought to get started because the install's pretty easy on this one. So we ought to get started working on that, I think. We'll share screen and get cooking on it. Okie dokie. Everybody should be able to see my screen at this point. And we will get over here to the web page by Wix.com builder. Apparently you created it on Wix. And it's got contact, shop, blog, forum, and a home. And here's a download link right here, so it's pretty easy. Torrent.
I'm actually in the process of editing the website right now, so you might want to give that page a refresh.
Okay. Let's try it out.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, we got torrents here if you want to torrent on it, or yeah, GitHub or GitLab. So where I went was I went download, and he goes right to this page here on there. I've already downloaded, so I'm not going to download it again, but that's where you go and it pops right up.
Oh, you got 1.1. But yeah, any version after 1.0 is fair game for a review, to be honest.
Well, 1.2 and 1.2.1 were mostly us scrambling like crazy people to fix some bugs that were discovered.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as functionality and usability, it's the same. It was mostly just bug fixing.
All right.
So
Sounds good. So, yeah, I can't remember exactly which one I had on there, but we'll look at it when I get over there. So, we'll go over here. Yeah, basically, let's see, settings and storage. 1.1 is what I got. So you had 1.2.
well, the latest one is 1.2.1, but it doesn't look any different than 1.1. It's
Yeah,
mostly
bug
what we've
fixes.
there was a bug with one of the items that caused something really bad to happen, so we had to scramble really fast to fix it. But it's been fixed in the latest public ISO. So
All
Well,
right.
1.2 is when we consolidated the toolbox, so it would be an actual good thing to go download 1.2 if you want. But
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the actual functionality didn't change, only the menus did.
no.
All right.
Well, I added a few things, but yeah, sure.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, it takes a
Not
little while to
enough to
download them.
yeah, not enough changed to warrant a re-download. 1.1 is perfectly fine representation of what's going on.
All right. We'll start it up and cook it in. Now, I have increased this up a bit, the size of this virtual machine window, because virtual machine doesn't play real nicely in virtual machine that well, especially when you put the display in. And you get the guest edition installed on the host system or on the guest system. It doesn't really show the it does every time you put the display, this new display, it reverts back to the old one. So I just increase the size of this a bit, so until we get to that point. So anyway, boot menu. No, we have to push that and it gets cooking. Pretty easy to install and things like that. And it's gonna cook up here in a minute. Bada bing, bada boom. And here it is, I think, about almost there. Virtual machine only has one defaults to one CPU, so it's not the fastest thing in the world. There it is. And that's Titan Linux on the live USB. Install Debian's right up there. Yeah, it's based on Debian, and it's got like 5.10.103, I think, kernel in it by default right now, if I remember right. And so we'll install this. What will happen? Okay. The American English is correct. So it's basically Calamar's installer, and it works pretty much out of the box, pretty good much. Now, the only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't find my correct location because I'm in Denver. That's easily fixed. So I just go up here, click that. I'm in Denver, yay. Mountain time zone, basically. So then this is correct. I'm in US English and default. Yep. And now what are we going to do here? We're going to erase disk. This will delete all data currently present on the disk, which of course there's nothing on this disk yet since it's blank disk. So we'll do that. If you had other things you wanted to do, you could manually partition it yourself if you know how to do that. I know how, but I'm not going to worry about it now. There's no point in it. So I'm going to put a swapped file for this thing since it's only 30 megabytes, 30 gigabytes big. So that's what I gave it. I gave it 4 gigs of memory and 30 gigabytes of disk space. So yeah, there's it. So it's going to put Debian on there. Master boot record, blah, blah, blah. All that good stuff. Go hit next. And I'll put my full name, my name in. I'll just put Rick VirtualBox. That's sufficient. And we'll put my password in that I use for these things. And name password administrator account. Don't have to worry about that. You may, if you want to do certain things that you may want to change it up. If you want to log in automatically, you click that, or if you don't want to use that as administrator account, you can set a different password for root. It gives you a summary here, and then you just press stop. Everything looks good, which I think it looks all good to me. So, yep. So, we're creating the new. Gonna unpack everything, install it. It takes about 10 minutes, I guess, or something like that. 5-10 minutes, somewhere in that range. So, first, it's gonna unpack the images, and it's gonna install it and all that good stuff. So, why did y'all decide to create this? What was the idea behind it?
Well, when you install a regular Debian net installer, it's pretty bare bones, and you don't have a lot of driver support out of the box and things of that nature. So some people that don't know how to get that manually will go to one of the unofficial Debian live ISOs that already has a desktop environment. But when you do that, the system becomes very bloated. You end up with all kinds of language packs, all kinds of different terminal packages. It's just extra bloat. So on one hand, you have something that's very lightweight that you have to build. And then on the other hand, you have something that's a bit bloated out of the box. And I wanted something right in the middle, something that was fully functional out of the box, but also lightweight at the same time. And it just kind of evolved into what it is now. So that was really the motivation behind it. It felt like there was a category of Debian missing.
Yeah.
And then I think this fills it. So
okay, that's good. So yeah, so y'all really, what complications did you run into when you're putting it together? Is there any interesting stories about that?
I think the most interesting one is the one that just happened the other night. We almost pulled an all-nighter scrambling to fix it. When we were putting the toolbox together, we missed a very important detail. There was we had the system in place to automatically add the backports repository, but that repository, we had an app preferences file in place that pinned backports. And what ended up happening is Debian pushed an update to the regular kernel and stable, but the package name for the kernel, Linux-AMD64 or whatever it was the same package name as the upstream kernel and backports. So when that update hit, if you had backports on your computer, it was pulling in the 5.16 kernel whether you wanted it or not. And if you had VirtualBox or NVIDIA hardware or Broadcom, it was going to break. So we immediately took down the ISO and just scrambled our butts off for hours. You know, I'd got no sleep that night, but we fixed it as quickly as we could. So that was probably the biggest panic situation that we ran into while building the thing. Everything else was just us trying to learn how to do it, lack of knowledge on how to accomplish what we were trying to accomplish. But that's with any project, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Yeah, now, why Titan? Why did you call it Titan exactly?
Well, I was trying to come up with names for I was just putting random names out there, trying to find something that sounded good. And then we found the wallpapers with the Pegasus. And I looked up, well, Pegasus OS, that sounds interesting. Oh, that name's already taken. So what about Poseidon or something like that? That was taken. So I started thinking, I was like, well, what can I do? So Titan, you know, the Greek Titans encompasses all of those
Right.
characters. and that name wasn't taken yet. So I figured this will work. We could call it Titan Linux, and then the names of these different deities can be code names for each version that comes underneath.
That's a
And
good idea.
that was actually a good idea. And Cobalt came up with the name for the beta, the Acosta. That's actually in Greek mythology the name of an irregular and unstable female.
Huh.
And that works perfectly for the beta branch, doesn't it? So it's,
Yeah.
yeah. And the names just fall in order as they do in Greek mythology. You know, the first leader of the Titans is
Mhm.
Kronos, the
Yeah.
father of Acosta is Oceanus, and it just goes right on down the list. So we
Cool.
have enough names for 22 versions if
Yeah.
we get that far. So,
Right.
but we'll see.
That's cool.
Yeah,
And,
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
could be a big
the whole
use.
the whole Greek mythology thing, it just fit because it gave us a lot of material to work with
Mhm.
naming and themes and you know because each mythological character could be a theme for each release, and I think that would work pretty well as a theme to the distro, and
Mhm.
you know because you have to have a theme, I guess, just to kind of
Yeah. Pull it all
kind of
together.
well having its own theme kind of gives it an identity, you know.
Right.
Like Ubuntu has jammy jellyfish or whatever it is, and it's
Right.
you know
Oh,
it's that kind of thing.
jellyfishes. Right.
Yeah, and there's no lack of material in Greek mythology, so I think it'll work pretty well.
Yeah, I will. I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's creating user Rick and all this hardware stuff. It's bigger. Installing bootloader is usually one of the last things it does. So we're almost done, I think. Moving 10 packages. It's creating the init RAM FS. And we'll be done in a few seconds here. Be ready to reboot in our new system.
Like I'm pretty sure like the longest thing to develop this thing for wasn't even the toolbox. It was just trying to get calamaris and grub to work. That was the longest part of the whole journey.
Yeah.
Well, there was a point where we thought it was going to be impossible, so we weren't going to announce it or anything, but we hit a breakthrough in the middle of the night because I
Mhm.
stayed up all night that night. I'm like, I got it. It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to get out of this, I think, because it's going to boot back up in the live thing. I need to remove the disk out of there. And reboot into it. I don't know, it's probably can't just boot it, can't kill it at this point. So I'll probably have to boot into it and then log out. Or shut down or whatever. I should have done that to begin with, I guess. Yeah. I'm not sure what happens, but some of them will just automatically take the ISO out of it or off the virtual thing, and others will not do it and boot back up into live. So, yeah, the only thing that I've noticed about this, which we'll get to in a minute, I mean, you have some good tools there, that's for sure. And, there's some good tools. But one thing that I noticed was that if I saw that I have a framework laptop here, what this is running on is framework. And it has a i5 11th generation in it, and it takes at least a 5.14, I think, kernel to run. So I couldn't even install this on the machine now. You can get a kernel on, but first you have to get it installed in there.
Yeah.
So MX Linux, you know, they have the version of the Oz version, as they call it, where they, which is what I got on this machine right now. And they have it where they can, it installs with the later version of the kernel on it. so that I can install it on this machine that way. So this might be a project for later day for you. Okay. But it will install a virtual machine on the framework. Alrighty, start it up. And there you go. The grub menu.
Yeah, the reason why that's not themed is because it kept breaking. So we just left it Debian, and
Yeah.
people seem to be happy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, that theme that was on the live CD on Grub, we tried to carry it over to the installed image, but something about Calamari's installer would just run over the configs and then it wouldn't boot. So
yeah.
we decided it was easier just to let it be.
Yeah. Yeah, now when I install it on here, I don't think I've installed this on a live machine yet, but yeah, usually I don't know how the wireless works on this, but most of them were pretty easy on it, I think. So, yeah.
Well, that has the Broadcom STA package out of the box.
Okay, so drivers, extra drivers.
Yeah, it doesn't have the B43 driver out of the box, but that's kind of old and it's deprecated on a lot of repos now. So we decided not to include that one because if you have the Broadcom STA DKMS driver and that one, they kind of fight with each other. So
Yeah.
it was just better just to pick one, and the one that we picked covers about 80% of current machines. So
yeah. We have Steve from Steve's Very Own in the house over here. Are you forking around, he says?
yeah.
Sort of forking around. He's a character. So, yeah, so anyway, we'll try this. I think we have to install a guest edition before we can do the display and enlarge it to full screen here. So we'll do that real quick. And
Yeah, with this distro, you can't do that. It just goes back and forth. You install the guest editions, but once you reboot it, you drag the window down. Like you
yeah,
like you know how you unmaximize a window and then you maximize it back up and then it just
yeah, I was going to
goes all
show people
screen
here
somehow.
this process. I mean, it's usually the thing that gives me full screen. It goes like that and goes back, just like that. You notice there's this on there? It doesn't
Yeah.
show it. So, yeah. So you have to install guest editions on virtual machine before it'll work fully. And let's see, I think it's the devices down here. I think, yeah, you're up here. Right. Devices, edition CD. Image, and you gotta see. Your file manager. And you virtually you gotta get into run one. Run. And this is right up there. We'll copy that. We'll go to terminal. And we are there, so we just do sudo, I think, and we'll paste that in there. And run. And that should work. Run command not found.
Oh, you're already in the folder. Just the VBox Linux edition should work,
Yeah.
I think.
Without the run on the end?
Oh, yeah, with the run. I think it's sudo sh and then
Okay, yeah.
VBox. Yeah. Because it's secretly a sh file, I think.
Well, on Dolphin, it'll auto execute. So if you just click on the file there that says auto run in the folder, it'll
Okay.
prompt you if you want to execute it or not.
Okay.
And if you push execute, it'll just install.
I will try that then. Should
Yeah.
try that to begin with, I guess.
Yeah, that second row all the way on the left where it says auto run.sh.
Auto run, okay.
It's on the second row there.
Right
That
there.
one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's out of the way first.
If you
Auto
run
run.
that, it'll ask you and just push execute. There you go.
Yeah. And it's installing gas stations, then it should
Wow, I didn't
automatic.
even know that.
It should pop out.
Well, that's a Dolphin thing.
Yeah, it's easier than what I
So-
did before.
I
Yeah.
mean, I kept trying to click that .run file the whole time, but I don't use VirtualBox anymore for developing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the auto run, it's if you look at the script, it detects if you're 64, 32-bit or whatever, and it just passes it on to the next script that it needs to run.
Yeah.
So
Alright. And it should be. System is restarted, it says. Okay, now. Should be able to go back to the display. I can type right. And we can set it for the full screen version, apply it, and it should stay there. Oh, it didn't do it. Oh, it did wrong there.
I think it wanted you to restart the computer.
Oh, yeah, probably. And then it'll pop up in the right screen resolution, I'm sure. Okay. Restart. I know that pretty much. And we had to do updates too. Hey.
there shouldn't be very many,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
any at
okay.
all. It's a reasonably fresh ISO.
Right. Yeah, I think when I updated the other version of it, it didn't. Had like about 3 updates, I think, or something like that. Let's see. Cobalt Row Tech and Linux here in the house with us. Howdy, Cobalt.
Yeah, hi, I'm right here.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not used to your name, so I thought it was different. Alright, now
Yeah,
we'll
to
do it.
Yeah, to fix the screen resolution, you just drag the thing then and drag it back up. And for some reason that works, but I'm not sure if the display settings would work. We
Well,
could
it
try.
worked last time I did it.
Yeah,
Mm,
maybe
drag
Spatry
it.
was right
What?
about how and Spatry said exactly this would happen. So maybe he wasn't kidding. But I
You
never
said-
did it this way to get it full screen anyways. I didn't test for that.
What
Well,
did you
most
do?
recently I've started playing with GNOME boxes with the QEMU backend, and that actually works really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to use no boxes somewhat, but I had a problem with one of my machines on here and it had issues, so I
Mhm.
had to go back to VirtualBox. I don't remember exactly what happened, so. Oh,
Well, I
well,
just now I just now started using gnome boxes, and I'm learning the tricks to it.
Yeah. Yeah, now this is basically we're gonna leave it at this resolution, I guess, for the time being. It's big enough because I got it. As a matter of fact, I could make it bigger, but at any rate, the on a real machine, it probably wouldn't have any issues like this. It would just pop right in and go to full screen resolution like most of these distributions do. So we'll pretend it is for the time being. Hopefully everybody can see it good. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get this bigger though for people. Let's see. I don't know if they have the option on here to do that or not. It's all host stuff there. I want to adjust window size. Scale mode maybe is what I'm looking for. Okay. No, that didn't work. So, of course, then maybe I can go over here and I don't know if I can do while it's running or not, but I can try. You display. Push a little bigger. 150%. Okay. That's about as good as we get, I think. It's a little skewed, but you get the idea, and it's a nice picture. So it looks pretty cool. Title Linux. So yeah, like I said, now I was wondering what made this unique, because y'all said on there on your website that it's unique for Linux. And I was wondering what made it unique, and I looked in here now. The go to here and do uname. Yeah, it's 10 point. Oh, we need to update it, but 5.10 is what installs out of the box out of this. And
Yeah, that's the Debian stable kernel.
yeah, right. So that's standard, and then it's got about 483 megabytes out of 4 gigs of memory. No swap run or anything like that. And let's see. I need to remember how to do this. I'm so used to Super Q to close out a window on my computers that I always did that. So, close out window, yes. Easy thing to do. And here's updates on here. Now I did this. It basically uses the this is a KD desktop on here, and it basically uses the Discover, I think it's called. Is that right? Discover.
Yep, that's the default package
Yeah. So
manager.
it's using default for KDs out here. Update them all. And anyway, she blows. Yeah, it's kind of when I think earlier version of KD had it where these update things they went like halfway or something like that. But these go all the way. I was wondering why they did that, but I guess it worked. But excuse me. Now let's see. Yeah, how many updates? 40 updates. A little more than 3 than what I did last time, I guess.
Most of those are for language packs.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that when I was doing it last time. Had
But
language packs.
our first version didn't have the language packs, but then we started getting a lot of downloads from people from France, from the Middle Eastern countries. And
Right.
it's like, well, we need to add some language packs because we didn't expect to have that many downloads from those particular locations.
Where are y'all
So,
located?
we're both on the eastern United States. Well, I guess
Yeah.
all three of us are actually.
All right.
So,
Excuse me. Yeah, so that's US folks. They're still installing, 77% done. And it will kick in here about a little bit.
I think we're all within 4 to 5 hours of each other.
Yeah, right.
Right here on the East Coast, but
Drive time, you mean?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's mean. Yeah, this work from home enabled a lot of people to do a lot of stuff. One benefit of COVID, I guess.
Yeah. Well, when you have way too much time on your hands, you either waste it or you do something constructive, I guess.
Right. So it's finished installing. It's 99%. It's almost done. But anyway, it looks like it's installing. A lot of language packs, like you said. Firefox, CRS, Italy, Rome.
Yep. Now, on my personal system, I don't usually have language packs, but on something that you're distributing, you kind of need them, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you've, this is actually watched. Excuse me.
It was interesting though. Our beta release, the first, I guess most of the downloads for the first couple of days were actually from France, which surprised me.
Mm-mm.
But that really showed me we needed to put some language packs in the system.
Yeah. So it still says 99%. It's doing the Windows thing here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's building the kernel headers. Those take a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
There it goes. Now we're up to date. Yay. So
Nice.
while we're here, you might want to look at the Discover. I mean, everybody's probably seen Discover before, but see, where'd my little kill out of this? Okay, so now what makes this unique isn't so much the kernel, although you can get another kernel, a higher kernel level installed on it. Yeah, you have to be able to run it on your machine. Like I couldn't install this on my framework laptop, like I said, but you can get a higher level of kernel on it. And the basically what's more unique about this is the toolbox. Well, it's my MX tools, and you got Titan toolbox here, and you got app tools, security tools, software tools, support tools, tweaks, and utilities. Kind of remind me a bit of MX Linux in that regard. But yeah, you can clear swap. You have some stuff in your swap partition you want to get rid of. Application terminator. Restart network services or restart plasma. And tweaks. Got panel layout tweaks, and you got enable NeoFetch when the terminal starts. I used to do that, but I got tired of looking at it every time I pulled up a terminal, so I took it out of mine. But yeah, basically that just installs it on the end of the batch RC file, right?
Yeah, we just do
Yep.
it a little differently. We split up the bash RC in like 3 different files so people don't end up breaking the bash RC by putting their user things in it. It's
Yeah,
kind of unique in that way as well.
Mhm.
yeah. And
I think
there's yeah, what?
I think one of the main things that makes it unique is the default application set. Like instead of Kate or Kwrite, which is a default KDE, it comes with Featherpad,
Mm-hmm.
QPDF instead of Ocular. It has instead of Spectacle, it uses a more lightweight screenshot tool.
Mm-hmm.
We've just switched it out for light alternatives. They're all Qt apps still, but they're all lightweight. Most of them were born
Mm,
out of LXQT. So I think that does make it a little bit unique, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like KDE without the K. It's just the DE.
yeah.
Yeah.
D. All right.
uh,
So anyway, you have your support function. You got RC chat, which I guess it takes you right to the IRC channel, I assume.
yeah,
And you got
through the
support
browser.
Discord. Huh?
Yeah, it goes through the browser. So it doesn't add any extra software doing that, which is great.
Mm. Okay. So it's kind of like a little web app, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you got your software here. We'd say you have browsers. You can enable 32-bit libraries and extra repositories, and you can install App Image Launcher. Yeah, you gotta install encrypted DVD support, Flatpak support, LibreOffice, extra languages in LibreOffice, install Snap support. And I guess that's pretty much it. Now browsers you have here. You can install Brave, Chrome, Chromium, Firefox, CRS, LibreWolf, and Vivaldi. And
There is
advanced.
more, but it's not showing for some reason. That's probably because of the resolution. There is Flatpak installation, and I
Yeah, it
think
said,
App Image Launcher is missing as well.
yeah, well, I showed it on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so install backport kernel headers, install the latest available backport kernel, install legacy Lipin indicator, whatever that means, and install unused kernels. So, yeah, uninstall. Yeah, I was trying to why do you install unused kernels, but that's uninstall unused kernels. So you can clean up a bit. So, yeah, the thing you have to do is you have to install. Yeah, if you wanted to, you have to install the backport before you install this kernel head backport headers and the kernel backport kernel. So, and that's on a different spot, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, down here somewhere, I think. There's Flatpak support. There's App Image Launcher.
Oh, yeah. It's been a
Oh
while
yeah.
since I've seen that version. Whoops.
Oh yeah. You have to enable extra repositories. What you have to do, I think, and that enables your backport repos. Then you can go back into here and you can install the kernel headers and the more advanced kernel. I think it took it up 16 if I remember right.
Yeah, 5.16.
Yeah. So there you go. That's pretty good, I thought. It worked I tried it out on the other install I did, and it worked pretty cleanly and smoothly. So that was good. And so we have all those deals, and let's see what else we got here. I guess app tools, security. What do we got there? Enable your firewalls or disable your firewall, whichever one you want to do. It uses UFW. So if I click on this, it'll just enable it. Okay, what's password? Manual power, yes. This doesn't use a graphical UFW, right? And it's not UFW, it's just a command line.
Yeah, it's just the normal command line version.
Okay. So this makes it easier to do that kind of thing. First thing you have to know how to go in and add rules and stuff too. But
Yeah, we're looking into creating a option for the toolbox where you can add rules and stuff like that. Just the basics.
right. Stuff like SSH and things like that. Alrighty. And you have your app tools here. That you clean your app cache and reloads of your app sources. Package dump and install package into text file and update system. Test updates for the full update. I tried this other than Discover. It's probably better than Discover as far as this goes. Faster, I think. But yeah, it's more of a text based. It's sort of like MX Linux's update function. It's more graphic, not as graphical based, more text based, but it automatically does it for you pretty much. So that's those. Then you have your standard system settings for the most part. Partition manager, install system, info center, HTOP, web customizer, Dolphin, Discover, console, AD wallet, the Muon package manager. Never seen that. It's pretty cool. Sort of like a 80 version of Synaptic package manager, but with some differences. It's probably, I guess, it has more functionality to it than that.
I don't know. It's kind of like
About the same.
Synaptic. Yeah, I haven't used Synaptic in a long while, so
Yeah, I
it
used to
may
use
be
it all the
similar.
time when I was on my first distro. But yeah. Yeah, we'll just take a look at it for those that haven't seen it. Basically, you go in here and you say, well, I'm going to search for package. So you want to install OBS or something, you know, OBS. Okay, say you want to install vehicle diagnostic scanner for some reason. Scan tool, then you can just click on it. And mark for installation, you can install it. And then it's going to do any dependencies. And then you just apply changes and away it goes. I'm not installing now. I don't know how big, and I don't really need a vehicle diagnostic scanner. That would be like if you had the scan thing on your car or something. You connect down there at the bottom and then you plug that in. It just gives you diagnostics on readouts of what it tells you. Anyway, so yeah, you can do a lot of stuff in Linux. Including doing scanning your diagnostic scanner on your car.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I have 3 different actual diagnostic computers for that, so
Yeah, right.
they're probably cheaper than a laptop, though. I mean,
Yeah.
more expensive. The laptop's probably cheaper than the tools. I
Oh
never
yeah.
tried I never tried installing that and hooking it to a car. Maybe I
Me
need to do
neither.
that one day.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to try that out someday. See
Yeah,
what it does. I'm not really sure how you interface with your laptop with it unless you have some kind of USB connector to it or something like that, adapter.
probably.
Yeah.
Till
So
you get
that's
in,
your, yeah.
it probably wouldn't even work on anything built newer than 2015 because then you get into those CAN bus systems and
Yeah.
it might be a little different.
Right. So we have system, that was system settings. And then you got your grub customizer and your system settings, which everybody knows. Now, you think you know, but this is a little bit different. It's one of the versions of KDE that has the more like what do you call it? Control panel type version of your system settings. So yeah, you have your global theme, plasma style application style, colors, fonts, icons, cursors, workspace behavior where you can do your lock screen and general desktop effects and things like that. And you got your window management, and that's where you install scripts. I always like to install the Concite script into there, and so I can have dynamic tiling windows when I want them. Shortcuts, startup and shutdown, search, notification users, regional settings, accessibility, applications, backups, KDE wallet, user feedback, network connection settings. Hardware, display monitor, audio, power management, Bluetooth printers, removable storage, system information, which I'm going to take real quick. Look at. It's using KDE Plasma 5.20.5, which I think is pretty standard for Debian. And yeah, you got the framework, Qt version, kernel version, which we already know what that is. And the hardware, that's coming from my thing. And that's host hardware processor. One threaded by 8 threads. I'm stingy about that. Or I just don't bother to change the default mostly, so yeah. So that's good. And we have Office, and it's got UPDF view. That's your document viewer. It'll view your PDFs and stuff like that. And this is one of the changes you said you made. You put this in instead of the K
Yep.
viewer or whatever they call that.
Very minimal.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is less complicated too. So if you think KDE is very complicated, we changed a bunch of settings out of the box that are like better sane settings than other distros that use KDE. And the applications we use don't have a million settings in them as well. It just feels like a Titan experience, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and of course, if you need an office suite like LibreOffice or something like that, you can install it. You have the in software applications toolboxes. Multimedia, you got VLC media player there. Internet, got Firefox ER for web browser. Okay, graphics. Okay, LX image viewer, and a screenshot. I think that's now Spectre's one that KDE uses, I think. So screenshot is not the standard KDE version.
No, but the thing is that screenshot tool comes from LX Image. They work together flawlessly. If you take a screenshot, it brings it into LX Image. You could write over it without the need for a paint app. I found that very cool when I was using it.
All right, you got viewers there. In development, you have translations, icon browser, and your Qt5 designer and assistant. Those of you that do programming, that kind of stuff. So yeah, the yeah, you can see it's very minimal, but it's good if you like to install your own stuff on the system, or you don't want a lot of stuff on there, like you're saying. Not very bloated. That's good in that regard. So yeah, and you got a nice toolbox there. You could use some updating on some things, but yeah, it has a nice function. Like I say, it'd be nice if you could eventually get the kernel version in the original thing, so maybe some later hardware can make use of this. But for most people, I think a 5.10 kernel will work. Most hardware out there, except for most recent stuff. I got this framework laptop. I got it back in December of last year. That's how new it is. And of course, as time goes by and things happen, I think if I remember right, Debian's supposed to get the new release out in 2023 or something, or
Yeah.
20.
Well,
Yeah.
Debian's not really on a hard release schedule though.
Yeah, I
It's
know
about
some.
it's roughly every 2 to 2.5 years,
Yeah.
but it's not like Ubuntu. Ubuntu releases it on the day, whether it's ready or not. And I've always disliked that about Ubuntu. I'd
Yeah.
rather wait longer and get something that isn't broken
Mm-hmm.
than to be on time, you know.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
that's just
Hey.
me.
Titan 2.0 will be on Debian 12 Bookworm. And
All
that's
right.
confirmed here. Yeah.
All right. Y'all planning on doing any? I know you're limited on how much manpower you can throw into this, but I'm wondering if you're going to stick with KD or you're going to create any other desktop versions or window managers or stuff like that in boards.
Well, it depends on how stable KDE is. We've looked at Cinnamon as a backup because it's kind of in order on what I like to use right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Plasma KDE desktop is my favorite, so that's what we worked with. My second favorite's probably the Cinnamon desktop, and then GNOME, and then XFCE on down the line. So uh, we've tested these. Cobalt actually built a Cinnamon desktop on Titan earlier, just as a tinkering around thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if KDE becomes unstable, then Cinnamon is probably next on a list. But if there's enough, manpower to do it, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
lose our focus, we may offer different desktops.
Yeah.
But I don't want to stretch ourselves too thin, though.
Right.
I've seen this with other projects. Manjaro was a good example where they started off with like the XFCE desktop, and then they added all of these other desktops to the system.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, you could actually see the stability and the fit and finish of these things decline as they kept adding and adding and adding. And I don't think I want to end up going down that road.
Yeah.
But we could have a lightweight option or a fully, there could be a super lightweight option like LXDE or something, and then a
Right.
fully loaded option. I don't know. We
Yeah.
haven't really talked about it in depth.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for now the focus is on KDE because
Yeah.
we're trying to get the best experience with KDE. Then we'll move. I don't know. Usually, whenever you add more desktop environments, it starts to dilute all the manpower, and then it starts
Yeah.
becoming
You have to have
like
people on
weird.
board who can handle more work, or you handle
Yeah.
more work.
Yeah, but we do have some stuff we've been working on just in the background between me, Cobalt, because you always have to have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
If you've used Linux for any length of time, you'll know when KDE 4 when it went from Plasma 4 to Plasma 5,
Mm-hmm.
that was a very unstable mess.
Mm-hmm.
And if something like that were to happen again, we want a backup plan. We want to be as stable as we could possibly be.
Right. I guess that's
So
one of the advantages to having more than one distro is that, or desktop environment, is if one of them crashes and burns for some reason, you have an option to go with another one.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if Debian would put out a desktop environment that's buggy. But I wasn't around
Yeah.
Debian in the KD4 days. I don't know if they adopted it immediately or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if they adopted KD5 immediately. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
wasn't
I
there.
may have skipped over 5 and went to 5 point whatever. The updated versions or something like that, I assume. So, yeah. Well, we got Cubicle Nate in the house. I noticed he's the Linux Saloon guy.
Hmm.
You're familiar with that show? And let's see, Adam Grubb's here. Hey, Adam. And yeah, Larry says KD 3 to 4.0 was a horror. I don't think I really. Yeah, I skipped a lot of that because whenever I was whenever my first distro, I got 2011, I think is when I first got my first distro cooking working, where I used it for daily driver, and or at least I dual booted on Windows at the time because I had QuickBooks, so I had to be able to use that too, and so. Yeah, but I set up on daily driver and that kind of thing. I used that for like 6 years before I went to something else, and it was LXDE, so Ubuntu. So yeah, that's Titan for you. Not bad. Nice distro, and I hope y'all wish you all the best with it. I think it'll work pretty well for a lot of people. And yeah, if you like a minimal install, this is a good distro for that. Because it has some basic functionality, and then you can install what you want, which I have a script for that, where I have installed my programs I prefer to use. So it's be a good install. I can put it on my other laptop or some over here and test it out on that. Also got an old laptop that I have that I use to test out old distros on. Over here it's got came when it originally came with Windows 11, Windows 7 on it, I think. And it had like 2 gigs of memory when it first got it. I've expanded that some since then, but yeah, it doesn't have a real powerful CPU, but it had back in the day it probably was. But any rate, so anything else I missed or should look at on here?
The NeoFetch. Wait.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did look
The
at that.
NeoFetch is pretty.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's true. Yeah, I was. Let's see. Yeah, I went on there. Yeah, it had a pretty thing there. Theme dragon theme, dragon plasma, dragon icons plasma, console 5.2.5 plasma, and resolution is 800 by 600 because we couldn't change it for some reason. Thanks to virtual machine. And yeah, your Titan Linux 1.1 x86-64 Cronus branch. Virtual box. Is a kernel of 5.10.0-13-AMD64. That's pretty cool. And it's here even now with all the little stuff we've been doing, it's only using 507 megabytes of memory out of this, according to this. Of course, this usually runs higher than what HTOP shows you, but that's still pretty good. That's good. And so anything else?
Well, the fact you used one core, it's like mind-boggling how fast this is for one core.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's how fast I used to put like 4 cores on a distro, and then it would be just as fast as this, and this is just one core.
Yeah. May have something to do with the 11th generation i5.
Yeah.
It's fairly modern kernel or fairly modern CPU, so yeah, it works pretty good overall. Not even the most powerful. I could have got an i7 if I wanted to, but that'd cost more money, and I wasn't really into gaming that much, so
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, that's Linux, Titan Linux. Congratulations on getting a workable distro out the door. That's a accomplishment all itself.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, but
Yeah, so let's see, anything in the Larry says Titan seems pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to try it out sometime when I get a chance on some computer I install on. But if I wanted to, I don't like to distro on my main computers that much, but I do it on my other computers, my testing computers, that kind of thing. Because then I can work on those kind of things. So Larry says, Steve says, I'm not here, but wherever I go, there I am. Yeah. And yeah. So I guess that's all I have for today. It's been an hour and 6 minutes, so anything anybody wants to talk about?
can't think of anything. I'm kind of distracted trying to fix my website.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any plans to eventually, when you get more money out of this deal and people start donating lots of cash to you?
Well, if I get enough donations, I want to get a better host for the website, of course. I'm using a free host now and there's limitations with that.
Right.
That's the main thing. I'd put some of it into the website, and then I'd probably, if there was enough money to do it, I'd probably hire some people to consult with us on stuff that we can't figure out, just so we could, because people's time is important, and there's some things that and we don't know everything, and sometimes when we need help from experts, they don't want to give us the time. So
Yeah.
if there was a little bit in the pool to throw their way, they might. So it's, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
Right.
but mostly the donations would be for resources for the actual project, like the website and server space and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I don't even have Titan on my main computer. That's the sad thing because my graphics card is very terrible with Linux. Every time I try it, it just
Yeah.
blows up. So I'm looking into getting a
Yeah,
graphics card with my end of the funds, I guess.
What kind of graphics card do you have?
I have a 1050 Ti, but it's just no matter what you do, no matter how you configure it, whatever desktop environment, it lags to like 20 frames per second.
Really?
Like every time you drag a window around in all desktop environments, it's framey.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably bad. But I do
Yeah,
have a laptop to use time
And
on. It's back there.
that's not a problem specific to Titan either. He's
Yeah.
had that
Right.
problem with Linux in general.
Yeah, I've had that
So-
problem since like 2011. I've been trying hard to put Linux on an NVIDIA system since 2011 and failed horribly.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried MX Linux out of my son's computer. He's got a 1060, and and it worked for a while, but then it started having some issues, and so I put Manjaro on it. So far, it's been pretty good. It saw the graphics driver out of the box and just installed the right thing. Haven't had any problems with it, but everybody's different.
Yeah,
All
I
depends
assume it's
on
my
your
card specifically.
system, how you put together that kind of thing. What other externals they got on it. That's got to be one of the hardest things about operating systems is that you got to try to make it broad based enough for everybody with all sorts of different configurations. And then somebody says, it doesn't work, I'm not as broke. Yeah, well.
Yeah, once NVIDIA is out of the equation, I'll be so happy because I'll be able to run what I made on my actual workstation,
right,
which is currently Windows. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. I have to use Windows because of how smooth it is. Else I'll get a headache or a migraine, whatever.
Yeah, that's been always the problem with NVIDIA drivers is Linux and NVIDIA hasn't gotten along for a while. It's starting to change, but yeah, there's still some out there that have conflicts and stuff like that.
Well, there's an article just today that NVIDIA is finally open sourcing some of their code, so that might
Right.
help. That might help.
Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
remember seeing that article or hearing about it or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome news. It just doesn't work with my. The funny thing is that new kernel thing that they're doing
Mhm.
only works with 2000 and 3000. I have 1000, and
Mhm.
Nouveau currently works good with 7000 and 700 and below. So that means that
Mm.
900 and 1000 are going to be stuck in graphics card purgatory for the rest of Linux existence.
Yeah, I guess should be thankful that my 1060, my son's computer out there, so far seems to be working with Manjaro. Keep fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm looking into the Intel graphics card they're about to release, the Arc Alchemist for the $150 range. That's what I'm looking into.
Mhm.
Hopefully that works good. Well, it's not going to work good with Debian for like a couple, like 4 years or so, but I'll make it
Right.
work. I made a distro. I can make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. See, any other questions out there? Let's see. No, nobody said much anything else. No, I looked up there. I don't know if I missed any questions or not. It's good. Yeah, Steve. I don't see anybody said anything more. Yeah. So Bookworm release. That's the next one, huh?
Yep.
Yep.
Should be sometime in 2023, I guess.
Yeah. Some point. Yeah. I got let's see. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like it just was the other day that Buster came out or in Bullseye, and so it seemed like they're coming out faster, although it's a lot faster than like PC Linux puts out one every once in a while, but they're pretty up to date, I guess. And what was it one? Blackware, I think, put out one after 6 years. So fast release time than a lot of them, I guess.
Yeah, I remember when Debian 10 came out. It was controversial between me and Matt because they changed so much in Debian 10 and it just broke everything. Like the sbin and sudo. No one knew how to use sudo anymore because it was moved.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember whenever I think first time I installed Debian on my computer, and I couldn't figure out how to use what was it? Oh, I was trying to do the password or the user create a user thing. And it wouldn't couldn't find it because I'd type it in and say, "Man, not found." I was going, "What?" But this is standard stuff you need, though. So yeah, and it was in the S bin, and so I finally figured out the path for sudo didn't. You had to have it in there. So
Like
that sent me on a thing to learn how to put the path in the command lines. And I found all this conflicting information, all that kind of stuff confused me for a while. Finally figured it out though.
it wouldn't have been so bad if the live images weren't broke because if you were to go download like KDE version live ISO of Debian 10, you can't get access to the root account. So how are you supposed to go into SU mode and then change that? You just don't have access to sudo on that. There is no way that happened. Maybe I just remember it wrong, but
Yeah.
Matt knows.
Yeah, I was trying to remember my brain's freezing out here a bit, but basically I was trying. Oh yeah, I ran for a while, about a year, Neptune OS, which is another KD version of Debian, and it worked pretty good. And yeah, so I didn't worry about all that stuff because it worked out of the box on KD on that one. So, any rate, I guess we'll call it a year or a day or whatever. Thank y'all too for being here. And we'll do it again sometime, maybe when you have another release that's more updated and more bells and whistles on it. Who knows what you'll have? So be interesting to watch y'all grow and expand and stuff. So thanks for showing up and for being here. And we'll call it a day, I guess. And may the Linux Force be with y'all guys. Bye.
Bye.
Later.